Welcome to the Track Your Life podcast. My name is Boyd Varty, and this show is an invitation to journey with me back to the wild on the path of the story hunter. In part 3 of Story Hunter, we go back to the wildest parts of the Kalahari to run once again with the Bushmen people. This show is a journey for a story hunter and an invitation to follow the call of the wild. Episode 7, The Wild Man. In the days after the hunt, Alec, James and I drive through the Kalahari. We cut across fresh tracks of a female cheetah in the white desert sand, and soon we are following her tracks, then another set of tracks, then another. We find where 3 cheetah have lain down in the sand. 3 cheetah. We follow on, cresting a huge dune. Suddenly we have a view of the wild desert all the way to the horizon, and the scale of the wilderness is profound, silent, like looking in the mirror. Suddenly in the grassland below us, a mother cheetah rises out of the shade with 5 cubs and canters off. We have a beautiful sighting of them in the binocs. The tracks, as always, have led to magic. "This is our wild man week," Alex says to me as we walk back to the vehicle. "We need this time," I reply. There is a way that something comes clear to me during these times away in nature. I feel I'm drinking at some important well. And it makes me remember how when I was a boy, my father would take me with him to a huge granite-domed rock that jutted out of the riverbank. Reflecting on it as a man, I see my father would take me there when he was overwhelmed or needing sanctity. We would sit there quietly, and I would resist the urge to speak or play. Young as I was, I could sense that he was in some sort of communion. Sometimes, when a battle eagle would fly past, we would look up at it and point. "That's your grandfather," he would say. I didn't know it at the time, but he was tapping me into a source of energy and vitality. He was showing me that there was no more simple medicine than being silent in nature. He was expanding my view from an anthrocentric one to kin amidst the birds and wild creatures. My father knew that birds were how God prayed, and a tree was devotion in form. And this did not make him fluffy. No, he was wild, and he taught me that wild too. In the face of danger, presence would come into him. He would grab me by the collar of my khaki shirt, pull me roughly, and teach me how to handle danger. As an elephant bull came towards us, he would talk to me. Watch its body language. Read what it's telling you. Move slowly, he would say. I learnt the ways of the animal, and I found them honest, and yet I knew the wild was the wild. Awareness was your biggest ally. Presence was your friend. Humility and necessity. And these skills of the wild are the skills of the wild man. Aware, cultivating presence to the moment, to instincts, sensing others, moving towards what is most alive. Dropping down into the body, not locked in the conceptual mind. Able to meet the moment, unfrozen, free, true to truth. That's the path of the wild man. And these trips into the desert bring me back to where I draw my energy. I need to look at the face of wildness to remind myself of the wild man within. Of course, the wild man is there beside the wild woman. The wild man is not of ego but of presence. He is in the end a truth inside of me that I cannot cross. He is always there watching. But in the silence and clarity of the wild, I hear his voice in me as an audible current of sound. Wind, birdsong, the ocean on the rocks, the waterfall, the belly of the snake in the sand. Maturity is hard, because maturity is doing what you know is right, not just doing what you want or think you want. Maturity is knowing what is yours in this life to do and not stepping back from that responsibility. That's wildness too. The lioness raises her cubs. The male lion patrols the border. They do what they know to do. I came to the desert to find what indigenous knowledge remained. I came as a tracker. And what we found is those skills are alive and strong, just under the surface. Knowing this has been a source of healing for my heart. Here we found trackers, and we revived the way of the persistence hunt. We found skills that we can support and foster, and the Tracker Academy, guided by Alex, will continue to do its work to keep these skills alive, to keep trackers and the art of tracking alive. And it's my pledge that I will continue to support that. And here, as brothers, Alex, James, and I found the wild man alive in us. We are each one of us still learning to take full responsibility for what is ours, feel the things we hide from inside that the desert always brings forth, and also to, despite all the ways life wants to make us domestic, stay close to the call of the wild. It's a job to spin all those plates, but that's what growing up is. I would like to leave you with a reading from Lawrence van der Post, from his beautiful book, The Lost World of the Kalahari. In it, Van der Post has been camping with a group of Bushmen people in the desert, and this is his last moments with them. For once I moved off first, because I wanted to get the break over quickly. Just before I got in my Land Rover, Spoor of Gazelle, that's one of the Bushmen, broke out of the bush, the kerchief round her neck streaming out like a flag of fire behind her, and ran up to put an ostrich egg full of water in my hand, as I had so often seen her do to other hunters setting off on a long chase. Bowl of food, cow. Stone axe, bao cow. Powerful wildebeest, chi, and lips of fat, gu gum, were sitting silently beside the fire watching us intently. As I slammed the door of the car, they all stood up and raised their hands as Gao had done the evening I first met him. I drove past the silent huddle of men and women, all standing upright with their hands raised above their heads. Waving to them, I felt as if all my rediscovered childhood were dying within me. I drove up past the sip wells to the high dunes behind them. On the crest I stopped, got out and looked back. The remaining 3 Land Rovers were just crossing the dry watercourse. Beyond them, there was no smoke over our old camp, no visible sign of man or human habitation. The desert looked as empty as it had ever been. Yet in the vast world behind the glitter of pointed leaves, and in the miracle of sand made alive and thorn of steel set alight with flowers by the rain, the child in me had become reconciled to the man. The desert could never be empty again, for there my aboriginal heart now had living kinsmen and a home on which to turn. I got back into my Land Rover. I drove over the crest and began the long, harsh journey back to our 20th century world, beyond the timeless Kalahari blue. All my love to all of you.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Track Your Life podcast with Boyd. To begin your own story hunting journey, sign up to the online course on Boyd's website, or just find him on Instagram, X, or your favorite podcast player. Please rate and review this podcast so that more people can find and enjoy it.